Beneath his stormy surface flowed the warm tide of compassion and kindness.
HVL.
Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start.
Hey, what's up, softball fans, and welcome into episode number 6 of What in the HVL as we cover the greatest softball conference in Minnesota, baby. 9 teams that are absolutely electric. I'm Adam Peterson. Thanks for tuning into the show. As always, thanks to those who have shared the episode and have supported it since the beginning. I think it's approaching, like almost 2,000 views in total through 5 episodes. I know episode 1, I think, is even approaching over 600 or almost to the 600 view mark, which is outrageous. Just outrageous. Thank you so much. Incredible. Not just the best coaches and players and teams in the state, the best fans out there right here in the HVL. Let's go. Let's go. I know what you're here for, though. I know it's a breakdown of everything that happened in week number 5 of the softball season, so let's get it started right now. Saturday, April 27th, I said I would go back and recap everything that happened. Well, we got a couple games from that day. Red Wing at Lake City. I hear Red Wing, and I immediately think of just one name, and that's Bree Tix, an absolute superstar for the Wingers, one of the best all-around players in the state of Minnesota. As a pitcher, she sits in the low 60s. She can dump a changeup all the way down to the upper 40s. She can play infield pretty much anywhere. She can take a yard at the plate. I mean, a lot of power, hits for average. Incredible 5-tool player there in Bree Tix. I have to take my hat off to a player of this caliber, even if she's not in the HVL. She's that good. On to the game. Lake City started out hot. Maddie Skifton cut a runner down at second trying to steal, which helped to go 3 up, 3 down for Lake City. In the bottom half of the inning, Grace Morrissey started off with a single to left field and then advanced to second base on a fielding error. Morrissey would steal third base. The throw was mishandled, and Grace would score, making it 1-0 Lake City. Red Wing would answer back, scoring 1 in the top of the second, and we were all tied up. It would stay that way until the 5th inning, but unfortunately for us HVL fans, Red Wing would score in the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings to win this game. 6-1 was the final score. Here's your box score. 6 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors for Red Wing. Lake City, 1 run on 2 hits and 4 errors. Bree Tix, I believe she was like 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored and maybe a double. Also pitched, listen to this, 19 strikeouts for Tix. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. For Lake City, Adelaide Benedict, 1 for 3. Grace Morrissey, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Allison Dyke, 7 innings pitched, 6 runs. Only one of those, though, was earned. 7 strikeouts for her. The next game, Faribault Falcons at Stewartville. Stewartville coming in 8-0, ranked number 5 in the state of Minnesota for Class 3A. Faribault came in at 2-5, and let me tell you, the Falcons did not look 2-5. They looked like 25-0 when they played Stewartville. The Tigers ran into an absolute buzzsaw as Faribault dominated this one from start to finish. And no! My Tigers lose. They lost 11-0, could only muster 3 hits. Riley Sietsema was impressive on the mound for Faribault, and her catcher, Olivia Smith, I think was her name. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Oh, 7 RBIs. Here's the box score. 13 runs on 10 hits for Faribault, no errors. Stewartville, 0 runs on 3 hits, and they had 2 errors. And if you think I'm going to stop cheering for my Stewartville Tigers because they lose, you can just cancel Christmas too there, buddy, because that is not happening. Loyalty is huge with me, and regardless of the sport, softball, baseball, basketball, football, I roll with the Stewartville Tigers until the wheels fall off. Let's go. Oh, let's move on, though, because that one hurt. That one hurt. For stats for Stewartville, Kayla Byrne, 2 for 3. Addie Ackerman, 1 for 2 with a walk. Those were our highlights. Unfortunately, not a lot of them. Then we move on. Monday, busy day. Busy day, 5 games. Oh, 4 games. KM at Faribault was rescheduled. It looks like I wrote that down. First one, Goodhue at Wabasha-Kellogg. It was the Wildcats against the Falcons. This one was a thriller. Goodhue fell down 3-1 after 3 innings, but would score 2 runs in the top of the 6th inning to tie it up at 3. Wabasha-Kellogg would get 1 run across in the bottom of the 6th and get the final 3 outs as the Knights hold home court and win this one. 4-3 was the final score. Emma both pitched a solid game, but the Wildcats just could not get the bats going. Only 4 hits on the day. Let's look at this box score. Goodhue, 3 runs on 4 hits, 0 errors. Wabasha-Kellogg, 4 runs on 8 hits and 2 errors. For the stats, Emma Voth, you heard me you heard me say that she pitched a fantastic game. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. And then her batters, Izzy O'Reilly, 2 for 3, RBI, run scored, and a stolen base for their first baseman. And then the Christensen sisters, Lola and Aubrey, both had 1 hit. Lola, 1 for 2 with an RBI run scored. Aubrey, 1 for 3 with a run scored and a stolen base. Here's Lauren Gadiant lifting off like a rocket off the ground to catch this one. Fantastic footage there. And then Lola Christensen, going to need to throw that uniform in the laundry because she's getting dirty, all sorts of types, just sliding into third and coming home here for a score. Next up, Dover-Eyota at Rochester Lourdes Eagles. The battles of the Eagles. It was in Rochester, and we know how dangerous Dover-Eyota can be. Well, Dover-Eyota scored 2 runs in the top of the first to take the lead. Lourdes cut the lead in half in the bottom of the second. The sequence, Kate Fredericks singles on a bunt to the left side. Anna Weinke would walk, putting girls at first and second with 1 out. Amelie Dolman puts a bunt down to the pitcher. Error is made of some sort, scoring Fredericks and making it 2-1 in favor of Dover-Eyota. Unfortunately for the HVL fans on this show tuning in, Dover-Eyota would score 5 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 7th, and the 7th. They would win this one 13-1. Gotta give my girl Aubrey Foster Dover-Eyota a shutout here, though. She went 3 for 4 with an RBI, pitched 4 innings, only allowed 2 hits. Dahl and Palmby had big days at the plate as well for Dover-Eyota. In terms of the box score, Dover-Eyota 13 runs on 15 hits, 2 errors. Lourdes just that 1 run on 5 hits and 6 errors. Here's your stats for the Eagles of Lourdes. Kate Fredericks 2 for 2 with a run scored, a stolen base. Avery Washniski, I believe I've been saying that name wrong. Thanks to Reagan Rowley out there. Washniski is, I believe, how you say it. 1 for 3 with a triple. And Weineke 1 for 2. Grace Carney 1 for 3. Next up, Cannon Falls at Lake City. This one, Lake City got on the board right away in the bottom of the first inning behind back-to-back doubles by Adelaide Benedict and Kylie Mann, making it 1-0 Tigers. The Bombers would finally get one across the plate in the top of the 4th, I think it was. Allie Pagel reached base on an error. Ritz then bunted to move Pagel all the way to third. Allie would score on a wild pitch, and it was all tied up. In the top of the 5th, back-to-back singles by Hansen and Allie Pagel put 2 on with 1 out. A sacrifice fly by Ritz brought home Hansen. And then a Maya Meng single brought Pagel in and around, and it was 3-1. The Bombers put up another 6 runs in the 6th inning as they would stretch their lead and win this one. 9-1 was the final score in favor of Cannon Falls. Cannon Falls 9 runs on 11 hits, 1 error. Lake City 1 run on 5 hits and 1 error. Cannon Falls, Allie Pagel pitched a fantastic game. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts, no walks. She was also 3 for 4 at the plate, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Ava Hansen 2 for 4 with an RBI, 2 runs scored. Anna Ritz 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a run scored, and a double for the Bombers. For Lake City, Kylie Mann, dangerous hitter, that shortstop, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a double. Adelaide Benedict 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Ryan Hoyer 1 for 2, and then Stevie Jostuk 1 for 3. Stewartville, Caledonia is the next game we got to run down here. This is a long and tortuous path to get to Caledonia. I don't know if you've ever taken that trip. Kind of neat country landscapes, a lot of wildlife, well, animals, if you will, a lot of cows out there. It was colder than expected and really windy. The Warriors scored in the 3rd inning, but Stewartville tied it up in the next half inning. Sydney Clark started off with a line drive to center field, then an error on a Kayla Byrne ground ball, and a single by Savannah Hedin to the left side. Loaded the bases with just 1 out. Veronica Mitchell steps up and comes up huge. She gets a hard ground ball between the first and second baseman. That would score Clark. Unfortunately, that was all the Tigers could muster in the inning as the Warriors cut down the runner at home on a ground ball for the 2nd out and then a strikeout swinging for the 3rd out. In the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs, Savannah Hedin reached base on an error and then took second on a wild pitch. Then Veronica Mitchell hits a ground ball to the second baseman. She bobbled it a little bit, made the throw a little bit up the right field line, pulling the first baseman's leg off the bases. She tried to stretch, went to the ground. Well, Savannah Hadeen with a huge heads-up play on the base pass was running the whole time, and we needed it. She ended up scoring, making it 2-1 Stewartville. I know this sounds like a broken record if you've been tuning in to What in the HVL, but Addie Ackerman, goodness gracious, Addie Ackerman. She is having a heck of a season. 14 strikeouts in this one for Ackerman. Love watching her pitch. She shut it down the rest of the way to help us win this one against a very talented Caledonia Warrior team. 2-1 was the final score for Tiger Nation as Stewartville gets back in the win column after that rough one against Faribault. Let's look at the box score here. Stewartville, 2 runs on only 3 hits, no errors. Caledonia, 1 run on 5 hits and 3 errors. Addie Ackerman, holy cats, is she excellent. Ackerman, excellent. I'm ecstatic watching her pitch. 7 innings pitch, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts, only 1 walk for the lefty, just slinging it for the Tigers. If Veronica Mitchell came up with that huge RBI single for us, she's been playing really well. Sydney Clark, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Savannah Hadeen, 1 for 3, and you see on the right side, game-winning run, heads-up hustle play by the senior Hadeen. Next up, Tuesday, April 30th. You got 3 games here, and this first one we're naming with Game of the Week, not because just of the results or what happened. You look at this game on the schedule, and you're talking about 2 of the toughest teams in the conference, the HVL conference between Byron and Kasson-Mantorville. Really, the winner of this game is kind of the favorite to potentially take home the conference title because I believe both teams, if I'm not mistaken, beat Zumbrota-Mazeppa, but both teams are kind of in that front runner status, and we'll see what happens. So just based on the quality of the 2 teams playing each other, we'll see how it goes down. It is Byron, Kasson-Mantorville. I believe this one was in the Bears Den in Byron, 2 of the best teams in the HVL. I've said it once, I said it 1,000 times. Very scary when they're on your schedule. Comets loaded the bases with 1 out. Andrea Fitch, she was hit by a pitch plating 1 run. Then a Kylie Meyer ground out scored Grace Mann, making it 2-0 Kasson-Mantorville after the first inning. In the top of the 3rd, Andrea Fitch hit a single to center, moved over to 3rd on a couple of balls to the backstop, and she would score on a throw from a drop 3rd strike, making it 3-0 Kasson. Byron threatened in the bottom of the 3rd inning, loading the bases with 1 out, but Emily Olsen would get 2 straight strikeouts in a huge situation to hang another 0 on the board. The Comets would score in the 4th, and Allie Gronke singled to right field. Grace Mann was hit by a pitch, putting 2 on with 2 outs. Callie Richards hits a ground ball to the left side that couldn't be handled, scoring Gronke on the air. 4-0 Comets after 4. Fitch and Meyer then go back-to-back singles, and a double by Cara Farnsworth scores 2, and now Kasson-Mantorville leads 6-0. Emily Olsen continued to control the Bears' bats through 6 innings. The Bears made one last-ditch effort in the bottom of the 7th. A Clark walk, an Irwin single, and a drop fly ball loaded the bases with just 1 out. Olsen would get a pop-out and a ground-out, though, to end this one. Kasson-Mantorville wins the heavyweight showdown between these 2 teams. 6-0 was the final score. Box score, 6 runs on 6 hits, 3 errors for Kasson-Mantorville. Byron, no runs on 4 hits and 3 errors for Kasson-Mantorville. You heard me say, to go up against that Byron lineup and do this well, Emily Olsen, you got to tip your cap to her. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 runs, 12 strikeouts, only 2 walks. Allie Gronke hit a huge triple. She was 2 for 4 with that 3-bagger and 2 runs scored. You got Andrea Fitch, 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI. Kylie Meyer, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Cara Farnsworth, 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. For Byron, Tally Barons, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 2 earned runs allowed, 8 strikeouts, and then Max Steele coming on for the last 2 2/3 innings, gets every strikeout, or gets every out by a strikeout. My girl Max Steele just mowing them down, it looked like, to end the game, at least to hold that score the way it was. She also went 1 for 3 at the plate. Max Steele did. Emma Clark, Macy Behringer, and Kayleen Irwin each had a hit for the Bears. Next up, Lake City at Stewartville. For Stewartville being 9-1, they have not looked like it in the... let me go back here. Is that the only game Kasson-Mantorville had? I think this week. I think it was. Now, before I get too far, I've been accused of saying that Stewartville has the hottest bats in the HVL. I don't think I've ever said that on this show. I definitely have said Savannah Hadeen has the hottest bat in the HVL, and I think her highlights and her batting average and her stats would prove that. But if you're talking about some of the top, like from top to bottom, the best hitters or the best lineup or the hottest lineup in the HVL, I think you go with the Kasson-Mantorville Comets. You're Farnsworth, Meyer, Fitch, Gronke, Olson. We haven't even touched on Grace Mann and Callie Richards and Abby Simons. I mean, you talk about top to bottom, and Emily Olson can hit the ball too. You talk about top to bottom, Kasson-Mantorville is probably the most dangerous lineup in the HVL, at least the hottest, and they are a team to beat. They are in the driver's seat now to potentially win the HVL conference if they take care of business the rest of the way. And we'll see a couple tough games, but Kasson-Mantorville playing just about as good as anybody out there. Next up, Lake City at Stewartville. And that reminded me to say that about Kasson-Mantorville when I think about this game, and that's why I had to go back. For Stewartville being 9-1, have not looked like it in the box score the last few games. You talk about Caledonia squeaking across 2 runs scored. Luckily for Stewartville, we have probably 2 of the best pitchers in the HVL conference, and on this day, it was Sydney Clark getting the start. No runs were scored through 3 innings. The first score came in the bottom of the 4th inning. Clark hit a laser to left field that was mishandled. Nora Dyke on to courtesy run for her. A walk by Addie Eckerman put 2 on with 2 outs. Brielle Johnson, with already 1 hit on the day, laces 1 to center field. Dyke coming around third, scores, making it 1-0 Stewartville. Clark was running through Lake City with some extra pop on her fastball on this particular day. In the bottom of the 6th, Savannah Hadeen hits a ground ball to the left side. Throw gets airmailed into the dugout, which means Hadeen gets second base. With 2 outs again, Brielle Johnson, with ice in her veins, rips a single to center field, her 3rd hit of the game, and Savannah Hadeen would score, making it 2-0 Tigers of Stewartville. That is all they would need, because listen to this. Sydney Clark doing Sydney Clark things. Am I going to get to it? We'll talk about her in a little bit. But she had 17 strikeouts and a no-hitter. Incredible, Sydney Clark. Are you kidding me? For Lake City, all they got. Allison Dykes pitched a pretty good game, holding Stewartville to 2 runs. Allison Dykes, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs. Neither of them earned. Kylie Mann and Stevie Josek, the only ones to reach base, walk for each of them. For Stewartville, Brielle Johnson, are you kidding me? She steps in and goes 3 for 3, is the only player to have actual hits for the Stewartville Tigers, and we needed them in big situations. She also got both our RBIs, the senior Brielle Johnson. Great to see her out there crushing the ball. Sydney Clark, look at this. Also a broken record, 7 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, 17 strikeouts, only 2 walks. And then I asked myself, wait a minute, Sydney Clark, how many no-hitters has Sydney Clark thrown in a row now? How many she's thrown in a row? I think this guy has the answer. 3 straight no-hitters for Sydney Clark. 1, 2, 3. That's 19 innings of starting pitching of 0 hits allowed. Wow, and she's just a sophomore. You see this guy here, he's pretty happy after Sydney throws that game. That's my guy, Craig Clark. If you see us at Stewartville games, we're probably not too far apart, and we're probably laughing hysterically at something that has nothing to do with softball as we recite moving lines to each other. You may recognize us. We kind of are the Lloyd and Harry of Tiger Nation. There we are, Dumb and Dumber, some people might call us. But Craig, my main man, not many people more fun to watch a softball game with than this guy right here, and he's happy as his daughter threw 3 straight no-hitters. Next up, Zumbrota-Mazeppa at Lourdes. Angerman versus Amelie Dolman on the mound as Covers continues to rest, it appears, from pitching. I don't have the inside scoop. Not asking for it either. If people wanted to share it, that's fine. If not, we just keep rolling here. Zumbrota-Mazeppa started things off in the top of the 2nd. Trinity Chappa led off with a single, but then the Eagles got back-to-back outs on a ground out and strikeout. 2 singles by Braylee Peterson and Melanie Rash would bring Chappa around to score. Then a Megan Jasperson triple would score, or would clear the bases. Zumbrota-Mazeppa would lead 3-0 after that. Lourdes would score 1 in the bottom of the 2nd as Julia O'Connell hits a sacrifice fly to center field, scoring Reagan Rowley, and the Eagles cut the lead to just 2. Zumbrota-Mazeppa would strike again in the top of the 4th. Single by Braylee Peterson, double by Melanie Rash, and then a Megan Jasperson hits another triple for the Cougars. 2nd of the game, followed by a Paisley Peterson single, Cameron Covers ground ball, and a single by Addie Liffrick would all add up to 4 runs, and Zumbrota-Mazeppa took a 7-1 lead. Lourdes, though, fought back in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here we got to tell you about this. I got a video here. This at-bat is sponsored by Go Route because Reagan Rowley is going to go yard and she hits a bomb to left field and she says, "Top that, Nolan," as she rounds the bases. And it was now 7-2, still in favor of Zumbrota-Mazeppa. Lourdes would add another 2 runs in this inning. Grace Carney hit a single up the middle. O'Connell would reach base on an error, putting 2 on with 2 outs. Kate Fredericks singles to the right side, right field, scoring Carney. Avery Washniewski was on to run for O'Connell. She made it the most of that opportunity. She ended up scoring on a pass ball, making it 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning and a score of 7-4 Zumbrota-Mazeppa. The Cougars, though, would take advantage of a couple Eagle errors and a Cameron Covers double to put 3 more on the board in the 5th inning, and that would do it. The Zumbrota-Mazeppa Cougars would win this game 10-4. In terms of statistics, Amelia Angerman, 7 innings pitched, 7 hits, only 2 runs, earned 2 strikeouts. Megan Jasperson, wow, 4 for 5, 5 RBIs, 2 triples, and a stolen base. Melanie Rash, 3 for 5, an RBI, a double. Addie Liffrig, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Braley Peterson, 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored, and then 1 hit each for Paisley Peterson, Cameron Covers, and Trinity Chapa. The Covers hit and double. For Lourdes, Grace Carney, 2 for 3 with a run scored. Reagan Rowley with a big hit over the left field fence, 1 for 3 with that home run, 2 runs scored. Amelie Dolman, Leah Winnicky, Julia O'Connell, Kate Fredericks each had a hit for the Eagles. That takes us on to Wednesday, May 1st, Rochester Mayo at Pine Island. The Panthers went up 2 through 3 innings as they got 1 run across in the 1st and one across in the 3rd. Mayo would answer back in the top of the 4th with 1 of their own to make it 2-1 Pine Island, but the Panthers racked up 3 runs in the 4th and 2 in the 5th to build their lead and run away with this one behind a dominant performance on the mound by Caitlin Lerum, only allowing 2 hits and striking out 12, while 4 Panthers had multi-hit games, and Jenna Schlusner had 3 RBIs. Final score in this one, 7-2 in favor of Pine Island, out of the HVL, taking down a Big 9 opponent. Great job to Coach Kim Jones and the Pine Island Panthers. For stats here, Mayo, 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 errors. Pine Island, 7 runs on 11 hits and 1 error. Caitlin Laram, you heard me say 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, but none of those were earned. 12 strikeouts, 1 walk. She was also 2 for 4 at the plate with a double and 2 runs scored. Sophia Polzer, 2 for 3 with an RBI. Kylie Passau, 3 for 4 with a run scored. Peyton Barnett, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a run scored. Jenna Schlusner, 1 for 3, but 3 RBIs. And Tegan Barnett, 1 for 3 with a run scored. That moves us on to Thursday, May 2nd. You see these reschedules. Well, that's because it was raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock all Thursday, so field conditions were not apt to play that particular day. So we are going to just keep it moving. How you doing? Keep it moving on to Friday, May 3rd. 2 games here. Stewartville at Lourdes, Zumbrota-Mazeppa at Randolph. May 3rd, Stewartville against Lourdes. Stewartville 10-1, coming in ranked number 7 in the most recent Class 3A state rankings, taking on the 4-8 Rochester Lourdes Eagles in Rochester at their complex. Stewartville got on the board in the top of the 1st with a 2 RBI double to left center by Savannah Dean. Lourdes answered back, though. Anna Winnicky singled to center field, then Amelie Dolman walked, putting 2 on with nobody out. Both advanced on a ground ball to the right side, and then Grace Boyson singled to the left side, scoring both runners, tying it up at 2. Stewartville, though, poured it on in the 2nd inning. Back-to-back singles by Brielle Johnson and Haley Lourdes was followed up with a double by Brooklyn Peterson off the right field fence. That scored Johnson. Great bunt by Kaylee Lehrman, scored Lourdes. Perfect sacrifice bunt by Veronica Mitchell. You don't see that in stat book all the time, but we need her to lay those down, those sacrifice bunts. She did a fantastic job. Mitchell moved those girls to 2nd and 3rd, and then Sydney Clark steps up, rips one to center field, scoring 2. A few more hits, a couple errors, and before you know it, Stewartville racked up 8 runs in the inning. In the 3rd inning, 4 straight hits by Mitchell, Clark, Byrne, and a 2 RBI double by Hedin, and a long sacrifice fly by Addie Eckerman put Stewartville up for good as the Tigers run away with this one. 14-3 was the final score. Here it is. Stewartville, 14 runs on 11 hits, no errors. Lourdes, 3 runs on 5 hits, 6 errors for them. Lourdes, Anna Winnicky, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Amelie Dolman, 1 for 2 with a run scored. Grace Boyson, good day for her, 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. And Avery Washniewski, I misspelled it. I'm sorry, I don't have the N in there. 1 for 2 with a run scored. For Stewartville, I think I have, I was going to say I have the Sydney Clark on the mound. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 13 strikeouts for the sophomore. She was also 2 for 3 at the plate, 2 RBIs, and a double. Savannah Hedin had a fantastic game, 2 for 4 with 5 RBIs, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. There she is at first base. Great pictures by Missy Clark, the best photographer in Tiger Nation, sending them our way. Kayla Byrne, 2 for 3 and 3 runs scored for the senior. And then Haley Lourdes got back on track, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Also, Brielle Johnson, 1 for 3, continues her hit streak for games, 1 for 3 with a run scored. Brooklyn Peterson, 1 for 3 with that RBI double and just lacing the ball all day long. A lot of line drives and a run scored for the 8th grader. Next up, Zumbrota-Mazeppa. They traveled to face the Randolph Rockets, and they had to try to solve that complex equation that is pitcher Carter Raymond. Unfortunately, the Cougars would not have an answer on this day, could only put together 2 hits as this one goes to the Rockets, and HVL fans are not happy, and neither am I, as Zumbrota-Mazeppa loses this one 8-0. Zumbrota-Mazeppa 0 runs on 2 hits, 1 error. Randolph 8 runs on 13 hits and 2 errors. Culvers and Addie Liffrig were the ones that had the hits. Liffrig also had a walk to boost that on base percentage. Pitchers of the week. Okay, you know I like making lists. The more people we can kind of shine a spotlight on, probably the better. I hope it doesn't like take away from how special it is to be named with player or pitcher of the week. I hope you girls are okay with it. But when you do fantastic things like these players did, I think it's okay to recognize more than one. Don't you think? I didn't hear any rebuttal, so I'm going to say it's okay. Here it is, pitchers of the week. First off, Addie Ackerman, the lefty, goes against a very difficult Caledonia squad. I think somebody told me they were like 10-1, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts. She had 14 strikeouts. That's like her 3rd highest of the season. She had 17 and 16. Now she's got 14. Incredible. The junior left-hander was dominant. Next up, we got Emily Olsen from Kasson-Mantorville. When you go against a team like Byron with girls like Furstead and Steele and Mathry and Tally Barons, and you are able to keep them to 0 runs, I think you earn yourself right here. A complete game, 7 innings pitched, only 4 hits, no runs, 12 strikeouts, only 2 walks against the Bears in that with softball game of the week. Then you got Caitlin Laram. She did fantastic against a larger school, Rochester Mayo. Big 9 opponent, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 12 strikeouts, only 1 walk for Laram of Pine Island. Next up, Sydney Clark. I'm sorry. If you throw 3 straight no-hitters, and she threw this one against Lake City, 7 innings pitched, no hits, 17 strikeouts, only 2 walks, I think you have to be included in on this. Sydney Clark, back-to-back Pitcher of the Week award nomination. They're not nominations. You get awarded them. But incredible. She got 2 wins on the week, totaling 30 strikeouts between those 2 games. Awesome. With Player of the Weeks, what does WIS stand for? What up, the HVL? You know what that stands for. Let's talk about it. Megan Jasperson, I apologize, I don't have a picture of her. Couldn't find one even on Google trying to search anywhere. Zumbrota-Mazeppa, 4 for 5 with 2 triples and 5 RBIs against Lourdes. Jasperson gets the first Player of the Week nod. Then you got Allie Pagel of Cannon Falls. She was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. Also that same game, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts. So you got to include here. Bat and the mound. Let's put her right there. I appreciate the picture from our Kasson-Mantorville folks helping me out with some people from other schools that I might not be able to find the multimedia, if you will, to give them the credit they deserve. Savannah Dean, Player of the Week. 2 for 4 with 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored against Lourdes. She was 1 for 3, and that huge game-winning run against Caledonia. So we're going to put her up there. I think she's hitting something like 5 or 475 or something this year. It's just wow. Wow. Week ahead, you see right here, well, today it's Saturday when I'm recording, and I'm imagining the games today are either going to get rescheduled or canceled. I don't have that yet, but what I do have is what's going on next week. 4 games Monday, 5 games Tuesday, KM Century on, 2 games on Wednesday, KM Century, Goodhue, Mabel Canton, 3 on Thursday, 5 on Friday, and then 4 on Saturday. I do not know if I'm going to get those Saturday ones in because that looks like a lot. You got a double header there. Byron, JM, St. Anthony, Kasson-Mantorville, Cannon Falls looks like they're doing a double header. Pine Island at an invitational. That's a lot of games. I don't know if I'll be able to stack them in last minute because I usually like to record on Saturdays so that I can post it on Sunday for you right away in the morning in case you do want to listen to it, in case you do want to share it. Hopefully end your weekend with something fantastic. Next up with Final Thought, I'm going to call opponents, not enemies. You know, I talked a little bit about this in episode number 1, where one of the benefits of playing on some of these summer softball teams is the opportunity to meet so many great players from other schools and great families. It seems like every game or two, we continue to be reminded of how fortunate we are to be in this tight-knit softball community, especially here in southeastern Minnesota. One of the things we tell our girls is that just because someone goes to another school or maybe plays for a different team does not mean that you can't be friends with them or cheer for their success, at least when you're not playing against them. Like, go easy on us a little bit. Yesterday, we were at the Lourdes game, and after the game, we got pictures with Anna Winicky and Reagan Rowley. Cadence Furstead from Byron had come to watch some of her summer teammates, probably on one of her only off nights of the next, 4 months with how busy she is, so we really appreciate that. And we tell our girls that when you face these studs on the field, on these other teams, you know that it's okay. It's okay to go out and compete against these girls, because we know the Max Steele and the Cadence Furstead of Byron and Reagan and Anna of Lourdes and like Ani Shank of Mayo, or Alana Schmitz from Lake City, or Jana Craning from Century, or Nora Hansen, Aubrey Foster, and Dover-Eyota. They are all going to come in and they're going to compete hard from start to finish. You know what you're getting from them because they're top tier athletes. But after the game is over, look at this. It's all good. You're all still friends because of one thing. These girls, they're your opponents. They're not your enemies. And too many parents, I think, these days push their kids into thinking, you know, you need to hate these other schools, or you need to hate these players, especially the ones that are usually successful. And some parents hope for other kids to fail for no other reason than to maybe see them fail and even like sometimes celebrate that. Not a fan of that. I personally am not a fan of that. I want the players out there that we know. I want you to do well. I want to be cheering for you. When it's a non-conference game, I want the HVL team to win. And playing against such amazing players, I would imagine, hopefully, only elevates the girls on our team. Like, you got to step up. Iron sharpens irons. And that is what we have here in the HVL conference. Some incredible teams that on any given night, either team could win. It's absolutely a fact. My hope is 10 years from now that the focus these girls have isn't on what the score of one game is, or maybe what their stats were, especially when they play against each other. But I want them to remember the fun they had playing against each other, playing with each other, and then the great times off the field that they can have. And, you know, remembering that when the game is done, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the stats you put up or how well you think you did, your team did, or whatever, you all can still be friends because they are just our opponents. They are not our enemies. And so I love looking at these pictures and be reminded, a lot of great girls here in southeastern Minnesota. I think that's all I have for you this week on episode number 6. I know that some of you may think I favor certain teams. I definitely favor Stewartville. That's my squad, and I will admit that freely. But I'm telling you, I only put out there what comes in for information, for pictures and videos, and I appreciate the heck out of all those people that send them to me because they make my job so much easier. But they also help me elevate the coverage for their specific teams. So if you have any of those, the pictures, the videos, stories, stats, anything like that, do not think you're bragging if you send me a video of your daughter hitting an absolute nuke, or she made an incredible defensive play on the field and we have it for video. We can put that in here because the whole reason for this With Softball show is to shine a big old spotlight on the incredible players we have here in southeastern Minnesota in my favorite conference, the Hiawatha Valley League. I appreciate all of you who share these episodes week to week. I see you doing it, and I want to say thank you because this is a team effort, and the show doesn't get seen, especially by the broad spectrum of audience, and the players don't get the recognition they deserve without all of you out there helping me out. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope I'm giving your teams the respect and the coverage they deserve. I will try to keep getting better at this, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your patience with that. I think that's all I have for you here, though. Episode number 6 of What in the HVL is in the books. Best of luck to all the teams in the final stretch of the regular season. I think we have 2 weeks left. I hope this darn rain stays away so we can keep getting back on the field. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you all out at the fields. Take care, everybody.